With the destruction of indigenous populations and the enslavement of Africans, the Caribbean was constructed as the killing fields of Europe during 4 centuries of brutal colonial control. Although the enslavement era passed, it has left an enduring psychosocial and socioeconomic legacy in stratified social arrangements. In Jamaica, 1% of the population who are of mixed race control the private sector. This socioeconomic minority class is called the 21 families. The underserved African majority suffer from fractured and erased self-identity consciousness and punctured existential purpose. Most people are still aligned to the mainstream post-colonial mindsets and behaviors that mimic the perspectives of past oppressors. It is common for the average Caribbean national to reproduce identity narratives that place Eurocentric values above indigenous knowledges. A Livity perspective provides a counter-discourse to normalize socio-political unconsciousness. Livity represents resistance to Western neoliberalism and its conservative bedfellows. This alternative viewpoint advocates for ital or natural engagement between citizens and the environment. Based on a vegan approach to food and a replenishing of the earth, Livity validates indigenous knowledge and practices for self and community healing. By extension, Livity promotes climate responsiveness and resilience. Responding to the decades of disadvantage facing the majority class from underserved communities, Rastafari and other cultural, political, and spiritual communities have been calling for justice in resource use, wealth, distribution, human rights, recognition, and governance methods to fill widening well-being gaps. Current advocacy for climate justice has emerged as a growing component of this struggle by those facing disadvantages for equity in all walks of life. Jamaica, like the rest of the Caribbean, is classified among small island developing states, or SIDS. As the climate crisis escalates, SIDS have been identified among the most vulnerable regions of the world. Rising sea levels and beach erosion are already telltale signs that coastal communities are in danger of losing the security that they have taken for granted for decades. Climate-related risks like storms, floods, droughts, and fires all coalesce to threaten environmental and citizen security. In Jamaica, garbage disposal practices are imperfect as the authorities have failed to implement the cultural reform required for the practice of separation at the household level to be normalized. Citizens are not taking responsibility for their own waste. This reflects a careless attitude that assumes that someone else, somewhere else, will clean up the mess. A plastic use ban was introduced on January 1, 2019 in Jamaica, but it may be too little, too late. The story of the plastic bottle's journey from factory to the food chain must be included in the climate responsiveness conversation. Scientific evidence confirms that the hardy plastic is not only difficult to disintegrate as a solid, but its particles have also been found in fish and other creatures that reside in the ocean. Up the food chain, humans eat this fish. We can only imagine the damage done inside the bowels. Having none of it, the sea tosses this hardy refuse back to land. Riverton City is Kingston's largest garbage dump, where, for some women, collecting plastic bottles is a basic survival strategy. In the central Kingston community of Raytown, women earn $22 per pound for the plastic bottles they recycle. A year ago, 2021, Imani Duncan reported on Instagram that the group of women recyclists had prevented 36,000 pounds of plastic from entering the Kingston harbour.
The people them go around in a community and pick up buckle. It do a lot for Jamaica because it keep the country clean.
If you could just come out by Spanish Town Road and you see some young lady come off a bus, nice hairstyle, dressed nice, them big bag with them water and them juice can come. That's when them hungry or thirsty. There are a lot of workers up there, man. It's a vast week-to-week thing for people. Right now in the community, you have a whole lot of mothers when have no fathers for them children. And this is the God bless to them. It's not tell them no. Always make them find them little food, they call them hustle. And them work right through the night, because some people can't take the sun for work, for pick through the sun and them thing there. Because you have bully for them women and they have pressure on them something and them can't go to it. So them rather go through the night.
Riverton City is infamous for the fires that sometimes rage at the dump for days, causing a health hazard for residents in the surrounding areas, Riverton Meadows, and further afield on the residential hills.
When the fire department, you see the fire big on the dump, where the smoke just go over. Come like we have an umbrella. When it go over into land, it land like up in Patrick City, Queens Hill and them place there. So birthing time, you have children with it. Respirate's a problem, and baby mother and them kind of thing, you know. You have some trucks where sometimes a man light him fire jump and throw rubbish pan it and the rubbish man them come and take up and them throw in. So when it come from the dump pump, tip out now and the hard breeze start catch it. Fire in there. Nobody cannot know, because sometimes you don't see a fire jump until it roll out and breeze take it and it. You know, you have a whole heap of loose paper. One little cigarette butt can cause devastating down here, so.
As the smoke clears, the hustle continues. As George elaborated, the pig farmers on the dump are avoiding the compelling pathway of violence made worse by poverty.
I know them youth have mother and father before them. And see them do them things. You understand? They do them things and them not bad by nobody. Them grew up in a system and know say, and see man a old man and a rob man and a do man and them don't pick to do it. Them youth try to go to school, raise them animal, and just try to make a life for themselves, yeah.
Recycling is one spoke in the wheel of development. In order to make the full turn, Livity activists recommend reparations as a sustainable solution to the climate and development crises facing small island developing states. The Caribbean Communities CARICOM 10-point reparations plan outlines the region's demands for transitional justice for European colonial crimes against indigenous and African humanity. Rastafari have championed the cause of reparations for decades, and calls for redress are now supported by the English-speaking states. It takes a spiritual levity combined with strategic socio-economic and political action to continue to resist mainstream unconsciousness and to realize sustainable development strategies and climate futures.